Okay, so electrolysis of brine. Electrolysis of brine. So brine is simply the solution of concentrated aqueous sodium hydroxide. Normally, as aqueous sodium hydroxide is salty water that we get from the sea, but usually we use it to be able to produce chlorine and to be able to produce hydrogen gas and as well sodium hydroxide on a large scale. All right, that's fine. So what we have when we put brine into the electrolytic tank, remember brine is what is sodium chloride, like what we are saying, and it enters through this pipe. This is sodium chloride. All right, that's okay. So what happens is that having brine, I also have got it is an aqueous solution. So what happens, there's also water inside, so it means that I've got 4 ions. I've got Na plus ions from sodium chloride, I've got H plus ions from water, I've got Cl minus ions from sodium chloride, and I've got OH ions from water. So what happens is that because of preferential discharge, chlorine is going to lose electrons. So Cl minus has got extra electrons. So what happens? It loses electrons to form chlorine gas. And this takes place at the positive electrode. Remember, chlorine ions, because they are negatively charged, they will migrate to the positive. So when they migrate to the positive, the next thing that's going to happen is that they will lose electrons at the positive electrode. When they lose electrons, they will become chlorine atoms. When they become chlorine atoms, which are gaseous, this is the yellowish green gas that we can see here, and it's actually going out through that pipe. So chlorine is out of the solution. Now the 3 ions that we now have in the solution is the H plus, the Cl minus, and as well the OH minus ions. So because of preferential discharge, sorry. I have got here I've got what H plus, H plus, Na plus, and the next ion is OH minus. So now because of preferential discharge, H plus is discharged first. Is discharged first at the cathode. So when H plus is discharged, what happens is that it is actually going to it will gain electrons at the cathode. When it gains electrons through this process here, the next thing that happens is that hydrogen gas is formed and is actually let out through this pipe here. So what I now have in the solution is these 2 ions, the Na plus and the OH minus. Then they'll of course attract each other. They're going to attract each other so that they form sodium hydroxide. All right, that's fine. So that's electrolysis of brine.